Greetings all. Good morning and grand rising. Welcome to the very first episode of That's What's Up, where we are going to talk about perspective and seeing things differently so we can do things differently to get a different result. Because that's what's up. I am your host, 1000 Watts, and I must say it is truly an honor, and I am grateful to be sitting here in the Florida sunshine on a Tune-In Tuesday, offering this first episode. This is a project that was long coming. Before we jump into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to do, I want to offer a little bit on why I'm doing the show, as well as a little bit on the format so you know what to expect. As some of you may recall, those that know me, know that I had another show called the Positive Energy Podcast with Marcy Lambert Pellegrino. Great show. We had a lot of fun doing it. It was a voluntary effort, and it was great to do, but naturally, of course, as life would take its course, work supersedes the voluntary stuff. You got to pay the bills, and both of us got kind of busy, so we had to kind of let the show go to the wayside for pursuing the more higher priority of things that pay. So a lot of folks started asking, hey, when are you going to do another show? When are you going to do another show? So I kind of put together a little format for That's What's Up, little idea about perspective, offering an alternative perspective to the different things that we go through every day. And as life would take its course, I got kind of busy, and then one day my wife said to me, Elizabeth, my wife, she said, Kelly, you're working on a lot of people's stuff. At the time I was working on a grant, and I pushed my projects to the side. And she said, you're working on a lot of people's stuff, and you're not working on your own. You really need to focus on you sometimes. And I had to take a step back and dig myself and look at that. Really, you got to do introspection. I do it every day. So I said, let me look at what she's saying. And I realized, that's right. She's true. That's a true statement. She's right. So I committed myself then to saying, I'm going to start this podcast. And I kind of set a date. The date came and it got close and it wasn't right. And fortunately, I saw. So I delayed. It wasn't right. So I delayed. Fortunately, I saw an advertisement from a colleague of mine, Chris Kermentzos, for his book Start Ugly. And I said, wow, I love that concept. Start ugly. He says, you know what? No. Set the date. Do the promo video, which you guys saw. Post that, and then do your launch date. Record your episode and get going, man. Start ugly if you have to. But start. So, here we are today on a fine Tune-In Tuesday. A week later, getting ready to launch. So that's why I kind of started the show. As to format, it's going to be pretty simple. Initially, it's just going to be me, interactive on Facebook, posting videos. But your comments and feedback are welcome because ultimately the show will be interactive. We'll be moving to Google Hangouts, and I'll be having some video stuff going on where if you call in or video chat in, we can be part of a dialogue, actually be part of a group discussion, so that we get more and more perspective, more and more feedback, more and more approaches, more and more ways to see things differently and do things differently. So that's going to be the format of the show. We'll start with a brief intro and then do a check-in, which I will do in a second. Then take a beat and jump into exactly what the episode is on. So for the check-in, you got to see. You must know. I'm just feeling real good. I'm beaming right now. Life is going great. Sitting here in the Florida sun on a Tune-In Tuesday, feeling lovely. Doing exactly what I need to be doing in the space that I need to be in. I am stellar. I think you should also take a check-in for yourself. If you're watching, you're listening, do a quick check-in, and let's take a beat for that. Beautiful. Always got to do a check-in. Make sure you're in good space before you begin things. So, First episode, show is about perspective. What do you think we're going to talk about, huh? Of course, it's got to be perspective. I have had a mantra that I've lived by for many, many years. I'm probably going on better than 20. See things differently. If you see things differently, you do things differently, and you'll get different results. It's always, always, always about perspective. It's all about perspective. And I've learned to live by that mantra in my interactions with other people, because I'm not an island unto myself. I have to interact with people, to try and understand and see their perspective. So this way we can, we can grow together. That's really what it's all about. It's about human development and growing together. Before I jump into what I'm going to talk about on perspective, I just want to give you a quick little read on the definition, because perspective is we want to assume, and I don't want to assume ever, that we all understand the same language and utilize the same words the same way. Perspective is basically a point of view or a viewpoint. But I want to excuse me. I want to give the actual definition because it's really a scientific term. It talks about the art of drawing solid objects in a two-dimensional surface so as to give the right impression of their height, width, depth, and position in relation to each other when viewed from a particular point. Very scientific. Naturally, of course, the other one is very simple, and that is a particular attitude toward a way of regarding something, a point of view, which is basically what we're talking about. To go into the word perspective, you really want to, I love etymology of words, so you really want to look at the word, per meaning through. This is comes from the medieval Latin. Per meaning through, and spexere meaning look, or to look. So really what you're doing is you're looking through. And then the medieval Latin moved on to the word perspect, which we now get perspective from. So that's really what we're looking to talk about, the actual point of view when we talk about the word perspective. And the first thing I think I want to talk about on that is the acknowledgement that every individual has their own point of view. They have their own perspective. That is based upon the belief window in their mind that they have, that they see the world out of. And on that window, they place all of their principles and values and things that are important to me. They're like family and education, honesty, integrity. Integrity is a word that means a great deal to me. Those that know me know I live by that principle. Trust, loyalty, these are all values, principles that I put on my belief window, and I look at the world through these principles and I interact with it, and from that experience I form my worldview. And we all do this. As I said, each individual has their own worldview and their own perspective. The idea that I want to make sure that we really drive home is that you actually have to see someone else's perspective before you try and push yours. And I want to give a little example of how important it is to kind of grasp someone else's perspective on stuff, so that this way you can understand where they're coming from. You see them in a great mood, I'm in good spirits. Believe it or not, this weekend I actually I went to Houston to put my cousin to rest. Dean B. Harris, beautiful, beautiful spirit and lovely man, cut short. In fact, let me pull out my bookmark. It's going to be my bookmark from now on, in honor of him. In fact, in honor of him, I'm going to dedicate this show to my big cuz, Dean B. Harris, born Where is my bookmark? Oh my goodness. Born on December 26th, 1954. Died December 25th, 2019. You were an original, one of a kind. You did it your way, and I was grateful to be able to experience you in this world, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. This is my new bookmark, celebrating the life of my cousin, Dean Butler Harris. And that is the perspective that I want to leave with you on our approach toward his death. It was not a sad occasion. Yes, we were sad, we mourned, we cried, of course. We lost a loved one. We're human, that's what humans do. But we also celebrated, and that's what he wanted us to do. He wanted us to celebrate his life in a way that he lived, with laughter, telling stories about things that he did, places that he went, because he was a truck driver, and all of the different good and fun times that we shared with him over the 64 years that he was with us here. So we did not look at death as a thing that needed to be grieved and mourned and gotten over, various different steps of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross loss and death. We looked at it as a celebration of his life. And for 2 days, we got together as family, Harris family, I love you, and we celebrated. We spent wonderful time together. And it was truly a great experience to witness that transition. And I'm grateful. So no, I'm not melancholy or sad. I'm grateful to have had that experience. That is my take on death. That's my perspective of death. It is a transition from one state to another. It is not the end all. So that doesn't mean that someone else's perspective is not as valid. For all I know, the individual who needs to go through the grief and the mourning and the loss, they are valid. Their perspective is valid just as mine is. The one who has an entirely different perspective on death, that believes that it is final, their perspective is also valid and just as valuable as mine. Another key takeaway I want to point out, the mere fact that I acknowledge, recognize, and understand someone else's perspective does not diminish mine in any kind of way, nor does it diminish theirs. In fact, it really empowers us because we empathize and we learn to understand each other, even though we don't have or share the same perspective. Just to use a real simple example, because I'm a kind of simple guy. Did you see the beautiful blue sky behind me, right? Nice sunshine in Florida, it's bright orange, right? I could be talking with someone, people are walking by because I'm outside. I could be talking with someone and they could comment how the sky is purple and the sun is yellow. And I would look at them like, wow, that's your perspective, huh? I see blue, man. I see a nice... Well, okay, yellow. It's kind of a little oranges, but okay, yellow I'll give. But the sky is blue to me. It's got nice white clouds in it. And I could talk to that individual until I'm blue in the face. Only until they see the sky as blue will the sky be blue for them. Until they see the sky as blue, it will always be purple, because that's the way they perceive it. And I think that is the last important point that we need to take away. It's not what I think it is or how I see it. It's not what you think it is or how you see it. It's not even what it really is. It's really how people perceive it to be. Whatever way your scientific taking in from different points of view of an object is your perspective. You are in control of that. So in order for someone to understand my perspective and my interactions with them, I first try and see theirs. kind of like respect. If you genuinely give respect and you live honorably according to the principles that I mentioned earlier on your belief window, people will respect you, and then they'll offer the respect back. It's kind of like that same thing. If you genuinely try to see someone else's perspective before your own, you can actually tailor yours so that it fits their view and they can see yours. And then you have a dialogue. After the dialogue, you gain some understanding. And I think that's what we're really all trying to get from each other. Like I said, and I started earlier, we're not islands unto ourselves. We have to get along. We have to work together, coexist. So if not, that's the case, let's make sure we coexist peacefully with understanding, because that's what's up. So that's my take on perspective. That's my worldview, so to speak. Thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Tune-In Tuesday. Next week we'll be out here again doing another show, and I believe that one's going to be on human growth and development. So please tune in on a Tuesday, and make sure you keep tuning in. Give me your feedback, give me your comments, because your feedback and comments will drive the things that we end up doing with our dialogue. Alrighty now. Peace out, peace and blessings.